In last week's episode, we brought you action from a roller coaster event where I played in a $50K guarantee and watched my stack rise and fall like a squirrel playing Jenga with acorns. This week, we're going to slow our roll a bit as our river rat decided to go on hiatus. So I thought I might could fetch us some history of this game we all love and bring you the Mount Rushmore of poker. Minus a face or two. Let's just get into the action.
Honey, I was supposed to go broke on that hand, honey. Except I forgot one thing. I can dodge bullets, baby.
In the elite pantheon of poker, few names shine as brightly as Phil Hellmuth Jr. Born July 16, 1964 in Madison, Wisconsin, he moved to Palo Alto, California with his wife Catherine in 1992. This father of two boys is also known in the poker community as the Poker Brat, mostly for his fiery temperament and dramatic flair of the game. Today, we delve into the illustrious and sometimes controversial career of Phil Hellmuth, a man who's captured an unrivaled 17 World Series of Poker bracelets, a record that continues to awe-inspire poker enthusiasts around the globe. Hellmuth's journey to poker prominence ignited in 1989 when he won his first WSOP main event. He made poker playing headlines at the tender age of 24 and was the youngest champion of his time. His strategic intellect and psychological warfare catapulted him beyond a mere champion into a true legend of the game.
No strategy really in particular. You know, we're playing for about $450,000. I just want to try to play my best poker and win the match. I'm treating him as I'd treat anybody else heads up. A little more respect for him than perhaps anybody else I'd play, but I basically am treating it the same way.
Phil isn't just about winning at poker. His love and passion for the game keep him focused at all times. As of this recording, his resume shows an impressive 203 cashes at the WSOP, making his name synonymous with consistency and resilience in the highly competitive and vastly variant tournament poker play.
He definitely has his own brand of and style of play, right? He does not adhere to, he's never used a solver in his life. He doesn't know, he's not in that world, right? Phil has a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in what he does and that it will be successful. And I think there's something to be said about that, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't ever lack in belief that he can win, and he finds a way to do it his way. And frankly, a lot of what he does is very effective against specific types of players who are intimidated by him, but whether it's his resume or his demeanor or his attitude sometimes, right? Like if you're an average player and then, you beat Phil in a hand, you're going to hear it. Mm-hmm. This idiot from Northern Europe and beat me in this pot. And for some people, they don't like that. So he can use that against them. But I also think too, he cares so much, right? And that leads to trying really, really hard. He sees these moments and he doesn't phone them in. Whatever brand of poker he plays, he tries his best at all times to succeed and to win. And there's something, even though he's fundamentally flawed in a lot of things that he does compared to some of the bigger players, his effort and will and his determination to stick around is up there.
He is one of the greatest.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the greatest. He's certainly the greatest at the World Series of Poker. And he is the greatest at, despite the game switching into a pure game, almost an entire game of math, he has managed to keep the magic alive. And this, just through sheer force of will, making the game work for him. And that is incredible. And I think it's something that should be studied because it's an example.
Yeah, there might be some actual game theoretic wisdom. There might be something to be said about optimality from studying him. Right?
What do you mean by optimality?
Meaning, or rather, game design, perhaps. Meaning, if what he's doing is working, maybe poker is more complicated than we're currently modeling it as. So
there's an extra layer, and I don't mean to get too weird and wooey, or there's an extra layer of ability to manipulate the things the way you want them to go that we don't understand yet.
Do you think Phil Hellmuth understands them? Is he just generally...
Hashtag positivity. He wrote a book on positivity, and
he has?
Yes,
he did?
It's called Positivity.
Like a trolling book?
No.
A serious?
He's straight up, yeah.
Phil Hellmuth wrote a book about positivity.
Yes.
Okay. Not ironic.
I think it's about sort of manifesting what you want. and getting the outcomes that you want by believing so much in yourself and in your ability to win, like eyes on the prize. And I mean, it's working.
Phil Hellmuth, a mastermind of the game, an enduring poker luminary, and a true living legend of poker. In the high-stakes world of professional poker, where every move can make or break your game, one man has consistently proven himself to be a master of reading his opponents like an open book. Meet Daniel Negreanu, a legendary figure in the world of poker, as his ability to decipher his opponent's hidden intentions is nothing short of extraordinary. It's Negreanu's unique and uncanny knack for knowing his opponent's hole cards even without seeing them. This skill, often referred to as reading your opponent, is a crucial aspect of any poker strategy, and Negreanu is undoubtedly one of the best in the business.
Dangerous. Daniel paired his top card.
You see, Daniel hits top pair and he's hopelessly behind. That's why he didn't have to.
You know what I think he's got? Aces.
That is uncanny.
I think he's got 2 aces.
What do you do if you're McLean now?
Well, I'm not even sure McLean has aces, and we can see his cards.
McLean, a little more than half the pot. That's 12,000 with his aces.
Well, if Daniel is so sure he has aces, why do you reach for chips?
Ace!
Yeah, he made the call.
Give him an ace over there.
Turn card is a deuce. No help to Daniel. McLean checks this time.
You know, I think Daniel's talk has frozen McLean. Daniel talked his way into a free card.
There's a 5 on the river, and that earns McLean the check mark.
Why would you check aces on the turn? That was such a strange play. You had a straight turn on everything.
If I'm McLean and he's got the best hand, I just want to crawl into a hole. It's like Daniel is flashing a spotlight in your face.
McLean checks it. Daniel checks it out. There you go.
Aces.
I told you I knew what he had. I had a queen.
What makes his in-game awareness so fascinating for us mere mortals is that he will call out the exact hand his opponent holds, and more often than not, find his action on the downside of the play.
River card is another ace. A full boat for both of them, but again, Matisso's 10s make the difference. He bet 16,000.
Guess you got a 10.
Daniel calls it out and pays it off.
Daniel's aces over 9s comes up short to Matisso's aces over 10s. And Matisso gets a pot.
All right, Mikey!
A standout of his incredible reading ability occurred during the 2006 World Series of Poker Tournament of Champions. He found himself heads up with the late great Mike Sexton, and he was leading the table with his chip count, then decided he would see a flop with a speculative hand. As the game progressed to the turn then river, Negreanu's instincts kicked in, and he analyzed Sexton's every move, his demeanor, his betting patterns, even Mike's most subtle tells. It's as if he was looking down into a crystal ball and made his prediction to call out Sexton's exact hand, pocket kings. The wise and experienced Sexton remained stoic as he knew Negreanu's read was spot on. And as he sometimes does, Daniel talked his way into calling Mike's river bet. Then he coyly stated it simply was a call for curiosity. Mike's hand was tabled, and as he was scooping in the chips, he recognized Daniel's clairvoyant resolve by sharing his astonishment. Let's give a listen to how this hand played out in real time.
I just want to see him.
Oh, he was going to pay for the information and make the call.
How scary is this guy?
You have kings?
How scary is this, really?
Yeah, I thought that's the only hand you could have was 2 kings. At least I called it right.
What is that is dabbing it there now?
I didn't have any clue what you had. How's that?
I put him on kings and still paid it off.
Even though Daniel paid off Sexton's winning hand, it gave his opposition a moment of pause. How does he do it? It's Negreanu's perceived ability to outthink and then outmaneuver his opponents which truly separates him from the herd. In that regard, no one dare deny that Daniel Negreanu is an absolute living legend of the game. Our top-of-the-list living legends of poker turned an online satellite wager into a world-shaking, bank-breaking World Series of Poker main event victory. Straight out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Chris Moneymaker didn't just win a bracelet. He sparked a poker boom, proving that anyone with a dream and a pretty cool last name could bluff their way into poker immortality.
The raise is 300,000 now. Back to Farha.
Okay, I'll go all in. Let's go.
I'll call.
Sam Farha goes all in, and Chris Moneymaker's going to call it.
Chris Moneymaker versus one pair for Sam Farah.
And Sam sees the grim news, and with 2 pair, Chris Moneymaker, a statistical improbability to win this title at the outset, is now closing in on making it an incredible reality.
We start our poker journey in a place where an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream dared to defy the odds and would end up changing the game of poker forever. Chris Moneymaker, an accountant from Knoxville, Tennessee, had won his way to Las Vegas by playing in an $89 online satellite hosted by PokerStars earlier in the year. And despite the advice of his family and friends to take the $10,000 prize in cash, he opted to go for the ultimate gamble and try his luck at poker's most prestigious tournament, the 2003 World Series main event. Moneymaker was the clear amateur at nearly every table he sat, yet somehow he proved to be a formidable adversary to the pros who knew little of his poker prowessness.
I came in nervous as could be, and I've loosened up. I hope I can finish this thing off and be a real moneymaker. I don't know.
Chris was so zoned in on making sure that he minimized his mistakes that he somehow lost his place with this play and had to be reminded that even the most focused among us can sometimes lose their way when the nerves set in.
And here he is in Las Vegas, staring down 2 of the biggest names in the game, Howard Lederer and Johnny Chan.
Yeah, we just heard him say that he's not going to back down, and in fact, we're seeing him stare them down and trying to sort of out-muscle or even out-intimidate them.
He says he's learned a lot from both of these players over the years, and he's using their techniques on them right now.
You know it's up to you, right?
I didn't even know I had a hand. I'm sorry.
Or is he? I think he just forgot to play, Norm.
You're staring at him. I'm thinking, what? Are you looking into his soul or what?
Sorry, hell, I thought y'all were in the hand. I didn't even look down.
He just flat out forgot, Norm.
Yeah, we have to thank Johnny Chan. We might have been here all night.
And when that pivotal moment arrived, Moneymaker seized it with both hands, unleashing a brazen bluff that would go down in poker history.
You said it's going to be over soon.
It may well be. And is a 3 of hearts.
Moneymaker doesn't get to either draw, and the pair of 9s is best.
With nerves of steel and a heart of pure adrenaline, Moneymaker pushed all his chips into the middle, daring Faha to call his bluff.
Come on.
Chris is all in.
Chris Moneymaker going all in with nothing.
A stunning play from Moneymaker, who missed his draws, has nothing, and now has put Sam Farha all in. He would have to put all his chips in. If he lost this pot, he would be out of the tournament.
It was in that moment that the entire poker world was holding its breath, waiting to see who would come out on top in poker's most prestigious showdown.
You must have missed your flush, huh?
Sam's absolutely right.
This would be a tough, tough call for Sammy.
Is Chris bluffing this time?
No.
He ain't bluffed all night.
No.
It's quite a predicament for Sammy. He has a pair of 9s. It's the best hand, but he can't know that.
Make a crazy call on you. Could be the best hand.
Sam Farha trying to draw something out of Chris Moneymaker, but he's like a statue, afraid to make any sort of move. He is not going to do it. Chris Moneymaker bluffs Sam Farha out of a big stack of money.
And considering this situation, I know we're early in the century, but that's the bluff of the century.
Chris Moneymaker had executed the perfect bluff. And it leaves little doubt that this move paved the way to place the final dagger into Faha, as he was able to get Sammy to go all in, thereby creating what is now known today as the Moneymaker Effect.
This could be the last card of the 2003 World Series of Poker.
It's a 5.
With a full house, Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farha, and the 27-year-old has stepped out of the virtual poker room and in a very swift and unlikely manner is atop the poker world.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
Chris Moneymaker, the amateur from Knoxville, Tennessee, had become more than just a champion. he was on the path of becoming one of poker's living legends. That'll do it for this episode. It sure was fun taking that trip back in time to see what makes a living legend of poker. And coming up next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, we're going to have even more action and poker shenanigans to bring you. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on a thing. And if you have any ideas about future shows, go ahead and pin your comments down below. As always, play smart, play with heart, and always make it fun. This is Marty, and you've been watching Reflections of a River Rat.